Radio Network, the world's conscious broadcasting network. Live on iTunes and archived on iHeartRadio. The voice of consciousness. And now, join Shay Parker's Best of the Best, offering celebrity guests, lively discussions, hot topics, free psychic readings, and expert guest hosts. Simply the best in spiritual and metaphysical talk radio. Listen live on your phone or device using our universal mobile player. No app needed. Shay Parker's Best of the Best. Find out more at bestamericanpsychics.com.
Intro faux pas. I don't know what's going on. We're just going to say it's spirit intervention here because that always seems to happen with the technology when you're doing these spiritual shows. So anyway, this is Shay Parker. You are on Best of the Best. We are live, folks, here tonight, right here on OTR FM OMTimes Radio. And I have a very special guest with me this evening. She is actually going to be another one of our guest hosts right here on Best of the Best. And excuse me, she's going to be guest hosting the fourth Tuesday of every month on this very show. So we're going to get to know her a little bit better tonight. And without further ado, I'm going to bring her right onto the radio right now. I am happy, very, very, very happy to introduce Best American Psychics member, Vicki Snyder. She is an everyday mystic angel, which is an earth angel with a lot of empathy, compassion, and a down-to-earth edge. You can find her directly at VickiSnyder.com. Now that's VICKI without an E on the end of it, Snyder, SNYDER.com. Vicki, welcome to the show.
Hi, Shay. Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome, and you're going to be having yourself here shortly. With
yes.
Yeah, so everybody out there listening, Vicki is a tested and proven member of Best American Psychics. So, excuse me. So we are certainly happy to have her also as a guest host with us right here on this show. And, I really just have to give a shout out to our listeners who have been with us the past couple of weeks, because the feedback that we've gotten has been tremendous, and we really, really do appreciate the support, and especially the support that you're showing to our new guest hosts as well, Vicki being one of them. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in and get to know Vicki a little bit better here in the show tonight. We're also going to talk about what Vicki's upcoming show is going to be about. So, Vicki, you are known as the everyday mystic angel. So can you further elaborate on that for people? Can you explain what that is?
Yes, I sure can. Okay, so every day, how I came up with this is that, first of all, I'm a Doreen Virtue certified realm reader, and there's different earth angel realms. And a mystic angel is one of those. So that was part of it. And the other part is every day is because really I'm an everyday person, and I relate to everyday people. I like to surround myself with everyday people. So that just fit with it. Some people have these images of themselves or of other psychics that in the field that, they're unapproachable and, have this special gift. Well, to me, I'm just everyday. Everyone can have that same gift of being a psychic medium. So the mystic angel part is an earth angel is an angel that has come to this world to do the work of a light worker. So the mystic part is a part wise one. So I come with a lot of history and knowledge, and the angel part is that, which is kind of interesting, is that it's usually a mystic angel is an earth angel that has an edge. So they're down to earth. They're everyday. They may swear, they may drink, they may smoke. Not saying I do any of those, but I may have in the past. But so it's just an everyday person. So really that's what it is. And I'm here as a light worker, and an earth angel is just that, to really spread the light and for the mission of improving the world for others.
So how are your, in other words, how is your particular reading style different than, for instance, a full-on psychic medium or a full-on psychic, given that you also incorporate the angels into it?
Right. First of all, too, my reading style is a little bit different is because I do have, I have a degree in psychology, so I have, and I've worked in the counseling field, so the angels and the universe and spirit use me in that way, so that's how it's different. And I connect to the angels. During every reading, I connect with the angels that work with me, that work with the people that sit with me, and offer their hope and their direction to them. And it's usually a very compassionate reading. I come from a counseling style that it's very, a reading with me is going to be very interactive. We're going to talk, we're going to sit down, and it's going to be very comfortable for the person. It's not me just talking and telling you everything I'm getting, but we're going to process it together. So I guess that's how it's a little bit different, is that it's really interactive and it's processing the information so that healing can occur and continue and that people can be empowered.
Yeah, so it's basically a continuum. And actually, what I want to do, I know you're a certified angel card reader, but you also you've taken it, I think, more than one step. You've taken it several steps further because obviously with the mental aspect of it, there's a lot that goes into that, especially with grief and depression and stuff like that. But you're also a certified assertiveness coach. So can you explain to our listeners what that entails?
Sure. Again, when I worked back in the 80s and with the mental health, in the mental health field, I was teaching assertiveness back then, and that kind of has been dormant. And then I got interested in it again when Doreen Virtue came out with her book, Assertiveness for Earth Angels. And I actually started already working with groups of earth angels or just people that are light workers to improve their assertiveness, because this is an area that we as earth angels or light workers sometimes need a lot of help in, because we like to be people pleasers and not say no or set boundaries, so that because we don't want to upset people. So I've been doing that, and then she came out with the assertiveness class, which I took, which is really good for working with groups as well as individual people. Well,
I think that it's interesting about the assertiveness thing and sort of joining that or coupling that with people in the spiritual world, or even just people that maybe are not as confident, as others out there. So I think that is really just a brilliant marriage of the esoteric work that you do, but also, I mean, let's face it, we are human beings, we are walking in the human body, and we do have things that affect us one way or another, whether it's in our childhood or our work environment or whatever. So I think the assertiveness thing, I really, really think that's a fantastic idea, because I know myself, I struggle with, oh gosh, I am trying to please everybody sometimes, and you're trying to do the best that you can do, but you absolutely have to set boundaries, because if you don't, it's like a Mack truck,
exactly.
running you over. So, yeah,
yes, I definitely have struggled with this most of my life until I really opened up to that spiritual side of myself, and in taking that step into the spiritual realm, it has definitely helped me know that I have to set boundaries and to be assertive, and that it's okay as long as I'm saying no from a loving place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would see how that also could be very beneficial for your clients, because you can not only give them the psychic, reading and the messages from their guides and the angels, but you can also go to the more clinical side of things, which, I mean, that's a one-stop shop,
Yeah, I try to do that so I can, I'm able to help a lot of different people, and it's so much more than just a reading. And of course, I firmly believe that readings are a form of healing. So the counseling and helping people to be empowered just goes along with that as well.
Yeah, and this is something that, like you said earlier, people can it can be a continuum where they can build upon their last session with you and then continue. Because let's face it, I mean, healing sometimes takes months, years. It doesn't necessarily happen in a 30-minute reading, although a lot of healing can happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it's definitely a process.
Oh, yeah.
Also, to throw in here, too, along with that, since we're kind of talking about healing, is I do integrated energy therapy, which is healing with angels. So I also help and a lot of times assertiveness comes up intuitively when I'm working on people as well. It seems like the universe brings people to me that really do need help with their personal power and the assertiveness. So it all kind of plays together.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I really believe that, too. I believe that each of the psychics that do this work are recipients of the people that really need them. You guys somehow find one another, and I think it's just fantastic, and it's very powerful. So
it is amazing.
Yeah, I know. And well, we're going to talk a little bit more about all of this when we get back. And again, I apologize to my listeners. I've had this cough thing in my chest for a week now. So if I'm huffing and puffing over here, I'm not the big bad wolf. It's just I've got a cough every now and again. So there you have it. But everybody, if you are just now tuning in, or perhaps you would like me to repeat the website, I am speaking this evening with Vicki Snyder, and she can be found directly at vickisnyder.com. That's VICKI and then Snyder, SNYDER.com. We're going to be right back after the break to learn more about Vicki Snyder, the everyday mystic angel.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
The name is Bond. James Bond.
No, the name is Joe. The Joe Show. And we are returning back for our 9th season here on OMTimes Radio. So tune in every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, on OMTimes.com/mobile. You can take us wherever you go. Yeah!
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Do you want to be a better communicator? Do you want to better connect with the important people in your life? Do you want to enrich your relationships? If so, join me, Matthew Cooper, on the Positive Control System Show every Wednesday evening at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on OMTimes Radio. I'll meet you there.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Hey folks, welcome back. This is Shay Parker, your host of Best of the Best. We are live this evening with Vicki Snyder. She is an everyday mystic angel. She can be found directly at VickiSnyder.com. That's VICKISNYDER.com. And before the break, we were talking a little bit with Vicki about the different modalities and things that she offers to her clients, and they certainly there are a lot of things that she offers. So Vicki is a medium, an angel intuitive. She's also a Reiki and an angelic healer. She is a certified angel card reader, and we're also discussing the assertiveness coaching, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So Vicki is also going to be one of our guest hosts. That's very hard to say. Guest hosts right here on Best of the Best, actually the fourth Tuesday of every month. So, Vicki, tell us about what your plans are for your show.
Okay, so it's called Divine Angel Messages, and I will be offering divine guidance for listeners' questions. They can check out my Facebook page, which is called Divine Angel Messages, and before the show they can post a question there, and I will try to answer as many as I can. But I'm also going to be having guests, and the guests that I plan to have are sometimes might be just kind of everyday people, people starting out on the spiritual field, people that there could be experts, but my focus is really to help show listeners that anyone can open up on a spiritual path and start walking that spiritual path, and for people to, everyday people, to share their experiences of how they got started and where it took them, because people need that inspiration, I feel, in life. And so many people that have special gifts are just sitting in their living rooms and not embarking on that journey because they don't think they're good enough or they don't know how to. So I think to hear from everyday people on how they maybe became an author and published a book when they, were a hairdresser, which is a guest I've had on my show before, are people like that are very inspiring and empowering, and hopefully will lead people to check in on themselves and what gifts they can offer. And they can do it by listening to other people on their path.
Yeah. And I love that you do that, because here's the thing. I mean, celebrities and expert guests and all that stuff are wonderful, no question. But at the same time, everybody out there has something. They have some gift. They have some talent. And, we all walk the human condition, if you will. And, I really love the fact that you are putting relatable guests out there, because as wonderful as celebrities are and such, sometimes it's a little difficult for people to relate. It's kind of like, oh, well,
Definitely.
Of course, yeah, it's like, of course you did that. You're a millionaire. I mean, who couldn't?
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's kind of like, yeah. So, I love that direction that you're taking the show, incorporating both everyday people and then, of course, experts in their field as well, because
definitely.
it's one big picture, really. So,
yeah.
I can't wait to listen in. Now tell us, or tell the listeners, I mean, being an OMTimes radio host right now, you actually have some pretty exciting news. You just recently made the cover of OMTimes for an article that you did. So let's tell everybody about that.
This is again about stepping out of the box. The
issue.
I'm so excited. I can't speak. I'm tongue tied. Well, it started in November. I started writing, and the first article I wrote for them was published and put on the cover. But the last one I did was just this past week, and it was 3 ways to face pain. And I don't pretend to be an author, but I just started writing. Actually, a good friend of mine gave me a message and said that I should be writing in small pieces, because I'm like, I can't write a whole book, So I checked out OMTimes and signed up and submitted an article, and it got published. So it's very exciting and scary at the same time, because I've committed to really write an article every month and submit it in the writers community. So it is, again, another. I hope to show people that, I don't pretend to be an author, but yeah, I put myself out there and did it, and it's a wonderful feeling, and I like it. But each time I sit down to write, it scares me because I'm not a writer.
I beg to differ. You may not be on ironically, pen and paper a writer, but I think that Listen, you've made the cover. How many articles have you written? 2, 3? You've made the cover twice?
I've written 3 times and 2 were published. So yeah, that feels really good.
Yeah, to be on the cover. It's not just that they were published on the cover.
I know.
So, I mean, that's kind of.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm modest though, so
Well,
but I'm very proud, and especially this last article, my son helped me edit it because it's been a long time since I took an English class, so he did help me with that, and it was a nice family affair. It had him look at me at a different way, I think, and understand a little bit more about what I think and how I work. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, I bet that was. And it's great that he helped you out with that because it is, as we grow into adulthood and we are able to view our parents in, with different eyes, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, gee, they're not just the cook, the clean, and the chief bottle washer, So they actually have lives and gifts, all sorts of great stuff. So here's the thing, Vicki. I have to say this about you because I love this component of your life. Here you are, Vicki Snyder, everyday mystic angel, earth angel, empathy, compassion, down to earth edge, and then I go on your Facebook and you're on the back of a hog riding down the road. The first time I was like, what? So it's so cool. I think, I think that's absolutely fantastic. You're into the good old motorcycles, and I think that's fantastic. So good on you there.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And that's, something I've always been afraid of motorcycles and never interested in them, but my fiance loves them, and it's something that he's taught me that I really love, and we share it out.
I love Jim. Hi, Jim. I love Jim. He's
listening.
I know. Tell him I said hi. He was my luggage man. Jim helped me out big time. He carried the biggest suitcase I've ever seen in my life up like 2 flights of steps for me. So that was fantastic. But yeah, indeed. Well, I really love the fact that you are so. You're not one of these kind of holier than thou, you can get right down with people and really they do feel very comfortable around you. So,
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nice to have metaphysical or spiritual practitioners that are so down to earth, because again, I sometimes think that people feel that this is untouchable for them, and your whole motto of bringing it to the everyday person is really it's very inspiring.
Thank you.
Is. Yeah, absolutely. So all right. Well, we've got the radio show coming up, folks. Again, Vicki's going to be with us the 4th Tuesday of every month with her radio show, and I would highly encourage everybody to tune in. But you said something earlier, Vicki, about if people want to ask questions, go to your Facebook page. Can you give us a shout out about how they can find you on Facebook?
Sure. My Facebook page is Divine Angel Messages, which is the name of my show on Best of the Best. And you can just, before the show, every 4th Tuesday is just, if you have a psychic question or a question that you need some guidance on, or one of my favorite things too is educate. So if you have a question of something you're experiencing spiritually in your home or around you, feel free to put it on a post. I'll probably ask for questions. I know I did that today. And I'll post, and then you can just ask a question right on that post, and then I will address it on air.
Oh, wow. Great. That's fantastic. And how much time do you need? In other words, before the show, do you want them to do it a couple of days ahead of time or just right before the show, or does it matter?
Yeah, right before. They can do it before, the week of the show. They can do it, a few hours before. It's nothing I'm going to prepare for. It's going to be, intuitive, and then when I connect with them I'll be connecting with them on the air, even though they're not live.
Well, you're the everyday mystic angel who's going to wing it. Get it?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, maybe.
Oh goodness, no, I don't know. I'm being corny. I'm being corny.
I don't want people to think that I need days to prepare, because it's not. I don't work like that. So it'll be very, just like if you'd be calling,
Yeah, absolutely. And you actually bring up a really good point with that, because sometimes the skeptics out there, and we know you're out there, the skeptics out there are kind of like, oh yeah, she'll get the name, the date, she'll be able to Google, so all that craziness.
Yeah, no, I don't have time for that.
I know, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Believe me. That makes perfect sense. So let's see. We've got about 2 minutes until break time. So I want to touch a little bit again on what you were talking about sitting down writing. For anyone out there that might be considering this, what do you do? Do you just walk in and plop down and you don't know what you're going to write about? Or how does that work?
Did you just read my mind? This is so funny, because I was going to bring this up. I don't know who, I'm not sure who I was talking to the other day when it got published, but I said, why can't I just can't just sit down and write? I have to be experiencing it. So something in my life happened that caused me pain, and it just poured out of me. So it's a little bit of channeled message, I think. The first article I wrote, of course I'm on air and I can't think of the name of it. But again, that came from an experience I was having in life that was very profound, that I felt I had to share.
Yeah. So it's
and
kind
it
of like
me, I think.
experience. Yeah, of course. Well, right? It's very cathartic, I think. I mean, I can express myself actually better sometimes in writing than I can even in words, because I have time to let it sort of flow,
Right.
Yeah.
I remember the first article I wrote in November. It was about dysfunctional families and how to kind of deal with that. So,
yeah.
And I had went through an experience like that day with my mother, which is a tumultuous relationship. And I just I have to write, and I just started writing. And I submitted it in POW,
Yeah, I know. Well, and it's great when it comes out like that. Well, we got to cut the break really quickly,
okay.
Folks. Vicki Snyder, Everyday Mystic Angel, will be right back after the break.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Elia, in the circle on Sunday 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
You're listening to OTR-FM. Part of the IOM radio network.
Hey folks, welcome back. This is Shay Parker. I am your live host right here on Best of the Best, and I have with me tonight a special guest host that we're actually going to have with us the fourth Tuesday of every month here on Best of the Best. Vicki Snyder. She is an everyday mystic angel. She can be found at VickiSnyder.com, and that's VICKI, no E on the end of it, just VICKISNYDER.com. Now, before the break, we were speaking with Vicki about, a variety of different things. And we did talk a little bit about her show as well, and also the different modalities that Vicki is able to do. And I know, Vicki, that you offer some classes and courses. So, I always love talking about classes and courses because I think they're so beneficial to helping a lot of people out there. So if you can elaborate on the different things that you teach, and again, listeners, if you're out there listening right now or perhaps in archives, the classes can be found directly on Vicki's website. There's actually a navigational tab for it, so you can find that on your own. But Vicki, tell us a little bit more about your what you offer.
Sure. Right now, what I mainly have been focusing on, because I do work full-time during the day, so my time is limited with classes at this time, but I'm hoping that changes going forward. But right now, I'm really focused on teaching people how to read angel cards. And the angel cards are such a great tool to help people check in with themselves and to have that guidance. So I use it more as an empowerment tool. And sure, they'll learn how to read for other people, but it's more, the focus is a lot of learning to use them for yourself. So I do that. I do a class on that. And then we do a monthly get together and practice reading cards with each other, which and learning different spreads. And I have tons of decks that people can practice with and test out. And I just use Doreen Virtue Angel cards. So that's really the focus there. I'm starting up a psychic development class that will be starting next month, and we'll be doing that. I teach assertiveness. I do assertiveness groups. What else do I do here? I also am on the Spirituality Center at Learn It Live. So you don't have to necessarily be in my neighborhood or area to take a class with me. I do live online classes as well. And I have assertiveness coaching there along with angel card reading are currently posted. But I also teach Reiki and integrated energy therapy, and within that integrated energy therapy, there's other classes with healing with angels and different angel type classes.
Yeah. So, now, can you explain to people really quickly what IET is?
Sure. IET, which is integrated energy therapy, it's similar to Reiki, but it's an angelic vibration, and it really works at getting down deep into your tissues and removing issues that you've hold on to in your DNA. And it's using, you channel angelic energy from 9 different healing angels. So it's a wonderful healing that I combine that with the Reiki. So it's, those two work really well together. But it's very, very effective with people that have issues from childhood, even from past lives. That comes up a lot, and really just starts peeling away the layers and offering them some healing.
So with that, would you say that the IET, the integrated energy therapy, is something more that they would do for themselves, or they would learn to become like a practitioner, or both?
Oh, you can, they would learn to be a practitioner, but you can also learn to do it on yourself as well. Just like Reiki, you learn as a practitioner, but you can do that healing to yourself as well.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
But it really heightens the connection to angels and opens up that channel, it's just a wonderful channel to have open with that divine love, because you learn to really do this heart link connection to angels, which you can use that heart link to connect with your loved ones that have passed as well. So it's really has a lot of benefit.
Wow. That's pretty neat.
And it's hands-on, just like Reiki, the same thing, on a massage table, clothes, and there's certain areas that you you energize with energy, you remove the issues, and then you so like I'll give you an example. So say you're working on the heart area and there's a lot of not feeling loved there. So you would remove those issues that are causing that lack of love, and then you put in the energy of love. The shoulders, it would be, removing the should haves and putting back in that freedom, that spiritual freedom. So that's kind of how it works.
Wow. Yeah. So basically it takes the different corresponding body parts, or maybe not body parts, but the body as a whole. And then is it kind of like teaching different methodologies for healing those particular parts, or is it more of like the whole at once?
It's like a whole at once.
Okay, gotcha.
Where Reiki seems a little bit more like you can do certain areas, but with the IET, I usually do a full treatment.
Oh, okay.
From head to the hip area, really is what it is. And then I do Reiki in between, and in different areas as well. So, because there's acupressure kind of points that go along with IET instead of the chakras. It's more of like an acupressure point.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you do all this where if someone is in your local area, let's see, where could they go? I know you're in New York, so.
Yes. Well, actually, before I tell you that, you can also do Reiki and IET distant healing as well as in person. But I am in New York. I'm in Rochester. I do have an office. This is some news I haven't really shared with anyone. I was going to talk about it, but my fiance Jim and I are going in on a little store. So I will be moving in March, and I'll have a bigger area to do bigger classes and things like that. So right now I do have a private office in Pittsford where I see clients, and I will be moving more into Rochester in March.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Nothing like making an announcement on global radio.
Yeah. And you have to look for our Facebook page when we get it. It'll be Spirit and Crystal Connection. So I'm the spirit and Jim will be the crystal. He's going to be selling crystals, and I'll be, doing the services and selling. I'm just going to specialize in Doreen Virtue angel cards, because around here in Rochester, it's like impossible to find them.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, good. Yeah, I think that's super exciting. I mean, congratulations to both.
Thank you.
It's a great venture to hop into, and especially, I like the fact that you're bringing both aspects together. So that should be great, and you can do all sorts of stuff out of a center like that. Groups.
Yeah, it's not a big one, but it's bigger than where I'm at. So, and it's going to be plenty room.
Plenty for you. Yeah. Very, very good. That's phenomenal news.
Yeah. So my class list will probably be expanding because I have tons of ideas. I just haven't had the time or the space to really implement them all. So that will be changing. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Which I'm excited about. Yeah.
No, I think that, and it's growth. That's what it's all about. So
yeah, I know.
The more people you can touch, the more people they can touch. So
exactly.
Yeah.
It's that ripple. Yeah.
I know. I love it. Now, angel oracle cards. Can you explain to our listeners? I know what angel cards are. I know what oracle cards are, but what is an angel oracle?
Okay. So there are angel tarot and angel oracle, but the oracle cards are really fun because they're very easy to use. There's no real set rules like there is tarot with the suits and all of that.
Yeah.
They're just much more free flowing. Doreen Virtue has a wide variety. I use her decks, but she has a wide variety. Some of the cards, there's always pictures of angels, of course, but then there'll be one word, or there could be a whole paragraph with a message. But I teach that you read them intuitively, so it doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't matter what it says on the card. It's more of your connection to the angels and to the universe, what the card means for the person.
Oh, okay.
So an oracle card, and the decks that I use, some of them have specific meaning, specific uses. Like there's a life purpose deck. There's there's different healing decks. So they all kind of have different cards in them, and you can definitely use them for spreads, and they're very accurate. They're very colorful, very easy to read, and just really helps the people to dig into that intuition they have and really build it and grow. And then I just watch them, they take off, and it's just awesome because it's a tool that increases the intuition and that connection.
Yeah. And I think that's really interesting, the way you teach. And of course, anybody out there that's ever gotten any type of a tarot deck or an angel card deck or whatever, you get that little booklet, your little cheat sheet booklet.
Throw it out.
Yeah, I really like the fact that you teach them to actually read the card itself and get their impression from the card. Because that, anybody can kind of sit there and read a book, and that's what I tell my students. People, if you are going to read for people, they're going to come to you. If they want, they could just read the book themselves. So they want a piece of your connection and what you are getting intuitively from that card, and it lets down. It also builds trust, which is so important for people that are open up psychically, spiritually, because that trust, and believe me, I know how it is, because I did not trust either, and I didn't have that faith in the information that was coming to me was going to be right, and all those worries. So I totally relate, and that's why I teach them that increases your trust and your faith, and that just spills out into everything else you do spiritually. Yeah, well, it is tough to trust that. I mean, Jill and I were actually talking about that last week, about sometimes I know you guys get some crazy messages, and it's like, can I really say that? It makes no sense whatsoever, and it's like, I can't say that. They're going to think I'm insane. So it does take a lot of trust. Not only for you and the person that you're working with, but also for you individually. Like, you have to trust yourself, but you also have to trust spirit, and that's a huge lesson. And there's our happy little cue music.
I hear it.
For our upcoming commercial. So, folks, I am live tonight with Vicki Snyder, Everyday Mystic Angel. We're going to be right back with you after the break on Best of the Best, and we're going to have our final segment. Vicki, go away.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Join Elliot Jollish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jollish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jollish Hour. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hi everyone, this is Shay Parker, the host of Best of the Best, which airs live right here on IOM Radio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm super excited to bring you expert guest hosts, spiritual discussions, free psychic readings, and so much more. I can promise that you will not want to miss this one-of-a-kind, fun, yet touching, down-to-earth show. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on OTR-FM. This is Shay Parker, and I can't wait to see you there.
You're listening to OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Hey everybody, this is Shay Parker. Welcome back. We are at our final segment on Best of the Best. And again, I want to thank all of our listeners. Without you guys, we certainly would not be here. So thank you for joining us this evening, myself and my guest, Vicki Snyder, the Everyday Mystic Angel. She can be found directly at VickiSnyder.com. That's VickiSnyder.com. Now, just as a show recap, Vicki will be guest hosting Best of the Best the fourth Tuesday of every month here, folks. So please mark your calendars, because Vicki is actually going to be doing something a little bit different than some of the other hosts that are going to be with us. She is actually going to be allowing questions that you can ask on her Facebook page ahead of time. So make sure that you make note of that. You can actually go to Vicki's website and you should be able to find her Facebook. Do you have it on there, Vicki, your Facebook link?
I do.
Let's see.
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, so if you need to find her Facebook page, you can go directly to VickiSnyder.com, excuse me, and find it, right there. And definitely make sure you check that out. So, Vicki, we are of course doing our very last segment here of the evening. So, what I want to go over a little bit, we started talking about the different kind of cards, and I know you do many, many, many different services and many different kinds of readings, but could you walk us through like a typical reading with you, like what the sitter would expect? Or I know it's hard to do, but
well, with me, because I am down to earth, I'm very relaxed. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to put anyone at ease and just talk and kind of get that connection going, help them put aside any anxiety they may have, because I do get a lot of first timers who are nervous, not sure what's going to happen. So I'm always open to questions. As I said, I work very interactively, so we do a lot of talking. And it is, someone I think has mentioned, it's like sitting down with an old friend over a cup of tea. So that's what I try to make it very comfortable. I try to ask them to kind of what they're kind of looking for, if they have questions, if they come with questions, or if they just want a general reading. So I like them to know that they have some control over it as well, because I think that's important. I get people sometimes that don't want to connect to a loved one that's passed. So I don't want to waste their precious time and money doing that if that's really not where they want to go, if they want to know more about their future or their job. So I try to narrow it down like that. So after I do that, then, I'll pull cards and, being that free spirit that I am, that angel with an edge, I have hard time following rules. So I don't necessarily like thought out spreads that, the Celtic cross, where each card means a certain thing in each position.
Right, yeah.
So I just kind of throw the cards as I'm intuitively guided, and just go from there. A lot of times if I'm doing a strict card reading, which, it's usually a combination of medium and psychic and cards. Sometimes I'll start with a past, present, and future, to kind of tune in to the person, and then just go from there. It's always, I during the reading, always checking in with them if they understand things, because I don't want anyone to leave a reading not understanding things, because I've seen it happen so many times when I've sat with other people that give readings and, well, I see this, and then, I see a frog, and, they're the person getting the reading is like, what does that mean?
And then my Prince Charming or what?
Yeah, they send them on their way, and it's like, I take that time right then and there. Let's process it. So what does the frog mean? What is that saying? Does it mean anything to you? And then if it doesn't, then I go back into spirit and ask for more information. So we work on it together. So sometimes it's like a puzzle that we're working on together. But I feel they have more invested if we work those things out instead of leaving and not. Well, Vicki told me she saw a frog and this and that, and I mean none of and she's like, oh, she's rotten. She doesn't even nothing made any sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna get warts. I don't know.
Yeah, what does that mean? You know. Yeah. So. And the other thing you're going to get with me is you're going to get a lot of humor. We're going to have fun, because I have a sense of humor. So that's the spirits I usually get they have a sense of humor. So, so that trust thing comes into play a lot because some of the stuff I get is kind of like, really, do I have to say that?
Yeah.
But, it ends up being fine because, I use humor and people really appreciate that because, their spirits had a sense of humor, so it helps them to even connect more.
Mm-hmm. It sure does. And because I think sometimes too, especially if you can bring through the personality of someone that has passed over, then it puts the sitter more at ease because we're like, oh yeah, that's Granny. She's, or whatever. I mean, yeah, she was crazy here. She's crazy there. So that definitely, that makes a lot of sense. Now, you brought something interesting up when you were explaining how this works. You said some people may not want to hear from, someone or whatever. Now,
yeah,
I want to expand upon that because I have heard a lot of psychics that say, that's what I'm getting, and that's what I'm going to say. And
no,
you know what I mean? So can you tell me your thoughts on that a little bit?
Personally, I'm going to speak of my experience because I was trained in the way that you just said, that this is what I'm getting and that's it. But, that the sitter can't even ask to connect with someone that they've lost because you might not be able to get them. But I, for one, have rarely, maybe once, had that issue of not being able to connect if I have that person's name who's passed. So, but there are people out there that don't they don't want to hear anything. So I feel it's my responsibility to let them have that choice beforehand. It's not up to me to just say, I have this person that wants to tell you this because I do advertise and put myself out there, psychic, medium, angel card reader. I kind of feel like they need a choice if they, I give them a choice to not necessarily connect to a spirit that, they don't want. And I've had them come to me where, they have really horrible relationships with, parents that have passed that were abusive, and they don't want to hear from them, and it's not my place to push them to listen to that at that time. So that's why I always ask, if I get a feeling, especially most of the times they'll say, yeah, I want to connect, but sometimes they don't.
Yeah. And I fully support that because I have actually personally witnessed, I was at a huge expo one time, New Life Expo. I'm sure you're quite familiar with it. I mean, you get 20,000 people a day walking through the door in New York. So anyway, I was in the crowd and I was listening to this psychic, and she, in a crowd of, I know there must have been 300 people in that room, and she was giving readings to the audience, and she pointed out this one girl, and she said, well, I just have to tell you that, I work more with abuse victims and that's what I relate to. And I work with sexual abuse victims, and I need to talk to you. And she pointed at this girl, and the whole room looked at that girl. And I thought, oh my God, you could just see her completely cringe and I felt so bad for that girl because that was so humiliating for her. And I mean, she basically outed her in a very, very personal, traumatic thing. And I thought, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And I mean, that girl turned every shade of red you can possibly imagine. And I just thought, oh.
Yeah, and you don't know what frame of mind that girl is in and what she heard or how she was made to feel, what she goes and does, Oh,
I know.
It's not responsible.
No, it truly
That's putting your own need to get that message out over the person that maybe doesn't want it.
Exactly, and certainly doesn't want it in that setting. I mean, it would have been one thing if they were in private and she said, listen, this is what, I have a message to share with you. But so, I totally support your responsibility in that, because this work, and I've said this 1,000 times and I'll say it 1,000 more, it comes with such responsibility. And it's like Spider-Man said, with power comes responsibility, or Peter Parker, whatever. But it's so true, because even though you have the gift and even though you have the ability, it does not mean that you should just be out there blabbing to everybody about everything. So, I highly commend you for that, Vicki. I really
Thank you. Another thing, too, that goes along with that, which I hear often, well, I'm giving you how I get it. Oh, my gosh, I'm totally against that. And some of these people that just are so rough with how they give a message that, some people, you can say negative things in a positive way. So I definitely work with my students on that, on the responsibility. You can still, say something that maybe needs some work in a way that's empowering rather than negative, and accusing them of not doing something. And this is the same thing, so some people, well, I don't want to be a Pollyanna reader. Well, no, but there's a way to do it that's not so harsh to
people. You don't have to be Cruella de Vil either.
Oh, no. Wow.
It's like, I know.
I get a lot of people that come to me after having those types of readings, and they're just like scared and they need that more of that reassurance.
Yeah, well, can you blame them? I mean, that's like having a very, very bad experience your first time out of the gate, and listen, I mean, that's pretty frightening. Yeah. So, well, we are going to have to wrap here because we have.
We are.
Yeah, I know. It went so fast. We're already at the top of the hour, so we're going to have to close for this week. But, folks, I want to remind everybody that Vicki is going to be with us the fourth Tuesday of every month right here on Best of the Best.
Thank you for joining us for Shay Parker's Best of the Best. Be sure to tune in next week for more lively discussion topics. Have a great week, and don't forget to check out bestamericanpsychics.com in case you need some professional, ethical, and accurate psychic advice from the nation's best psychics. Until next week,